going on, guys? It is your boy TKD here, back again with PlayStation Source, and we have some reports here coming out from an article that came out a few days ago. I think it was actually yesterday of this recording. And if you guys watching this video, it was about, of course, the beloved Guerrilla Games and what they're working on in the future. But before we get into that, I kind of want to do a little backtracking, a little kind of look into PlayStation multiplayer and stuff like that. As you all know, I'm very much on the side of I wish we had a little bit more multiplayer to play in terms of PlayStation exclusive, because at least for me personally, I think still right now I think the best PS4 PlayStation exclusive game that you can play multiplayer wise is still The Last of Us Factions. And yes, I know that got delayed and technically got pushed into a separate project from Last of Us Part 2, unfortunately, but nonetheless, The Last of Us Factions is still, I feel like, the best multiplayer experience that at least I've experienced so far. I know Killzone Shotfall has it. I believe you'll be watching some gameplay of it right now currently on the screen, just because it's Guerrilla and it's multiplayer. I figured that throwing some Killzone Shotfall gameplay. My first time playing Shotfall gameplay, so pretty cool to see that right there. But beside the point, there just really hasn't been a lot of multiplayer experiences in PlayStation exclusive games this generation. Of course, we've had great single player experiences with, of course, Uncharted 4, Uncharted Lost Legacy, God of War, Spider-Man, Bloodborne. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a ton of other single player great games. Days Gone as well that just dropped, Concrete Genie that just dropped as well, which I want to do a full review on the channel here for maybe tomorrow or the next day. Definitely stay tuned for that Concrete Genie review. But all that aside, we've had great games, just not great multiplayer games, or not even games that really take a crack or even try at doing a multiplayer mode. And I'm not the one here saying that every single exclusive should have multiplayer. I'm not saying that there should be a crazy Spider-Verse mode in Spider-Man 2 where you play as different. Actually, that'd be kind of cool. Okay, no, I'm saying like I don't feel that every game needs to have a multiplayer mode, but I feel like if it makes sense, if it fits into the terms of the world that they just created, and it fits in overall to the game, I say why not? You know what I'm saying? I feel that Days Gone should have had a really cool multiplayer mode, or like maybe some sort of co-op mode. I think that would have been pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Like if they can easily make it fit in logically and it makes sense. But dude, now I keep thinking about that Spider-Man 2 Spider-Verse multiplayer. Yo, that would be kind of fire. But all right, let's get back to the actual news at hand here. Obviously, as I said before, I'm not saying that every game needs to have multiplayer, but I'm saying it should be where it makes sense. Absolutely should be where it makes sense from a game to game basis. But we have here, of course, Guerrilla Games. They just came off of their great new IP they launched this generation, that being, of course, Horizon Zero Dawn, a very, very good open world RPG-esque action type of game. I loved it to death. I loved the lore, I loved the story, I loved the gameplay, I loved it all. It was great. Very, very beautiful looking game on base PS4 and PS4 Pro, whichever one you're playing on. It looks great on. And a lot of people are assuming that, of course, Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is being developed, a sequel to it. Obviously, the first Horizon Zero Dawn is left over with a little bit of a cliffhanger, a little bit of he's, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have a nice little twist at the end that could definitely be worthy of a sequel and stuff like that. But we have here some interesting news that there could be more than one game here in development. And I know we have probably talked about this a lot, but I feel like it is just more reiterating, just due to some job listings that got listed earlier in the week by someone at the studio. And so these job listings come from a man named Simon LaRoche. And if you guys aren't familiar with Simon LaRoche, which I wasn't previously a few months back, but now I know very well, because he got hired onto Guerrilla Games to helm a new unannounced project for Guerrilla, right? But he previously directed Rainbow Six Siege for Ubisoft. So obviously here we have some lineage of a person that has directed and kind of helmed the ship on a multiplayer project, something that is very competitive, very, very intimate combat. You know what I'm saying? Rainbow Six is a huge game. A lot of people love it. I'm sure you guys watching this, maybe you all are watching this are very much into Rainbow Six. I'm not personally into it. I tried it out, wasn't really my thing, or maybe I just didn't give enough time to let it sit in for me personally. But but I have tried it. It's a cool game, and you know, even though I don't love it, I can recognize that yes, Rainbow Six is a huge deal right now in this generation, and is one of the biggest and one of the and like honestly one of the top multiplayers of this generation, you know, in terms of people playing it, in terms of overall longevity of the game. But he previously worked on that, and so he posted this tweet that said, quote, "So it begins, come work with us. We need a hashtag Java expert," and had a link to, I believe, the job listings, which I'll go over in a little bit. "And while we are on this subject, this might trigger some interest and tickle your Java senses." And then has the actual link to the Guerrilla Games you know, job listings and stuff like that. And so obviously here I feel like it's a little bit too kind of, you know, dreamy to assume that he's working on the next Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, I really doubt they would add some sort of multiplayer component to Horizon Zero Dawn. I could see maybe like a co-op, like maybe like if you're trying to take down a big you know, robot. I don't like call it robot, you know, like, you know, those mechanical dinosaurs obviously in the world of Horizon Zero Dawn. Like maybe they might do something like that, co-op style. But I feel like, you know, when we dive deeper into the job listing, you will see what I'm talking about here, because in the job listings it says that they are looking for a Java developer to work on matchmaking, tournaments, clans, and leaderboards. And I really doubt that, you know, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, any sort of multiplayer or you know, co-op mode would ever have anything to do with matchmaking, tournaments, clans, or leaderboards. Maybe it will, but I feel like what's a little bit more you know, more likely here is that we have something from a few months ago. This was back at the top of the year, January 2019. We had the boy Tidux, right? And we have talked about this. I know I made a dedicated video to this whole topic. I already did that, but I want to reiterate here to prove the point here. So with the job listings, of course, looking for someone that is good at, you know, matchmaking, leaderboards, clans, etc., stuff like that. We have these rumors coming in from Tidux that were at the top of the year that he said straight up in tweets, latest rumor, PlayStation are in early stage of developing the next SOCOM game for PS4 Pro and PS4. By the sound of it, it's a tactical online shooter like R6. And so with those coupled there, right, and really we haven't really had a update on this. I don't believe he said anything since these tweets at the top of the year. Maybe he did, but as far as I'm aware, I do not think he did. I think this was just where it was left off. And so I feel like with Guerrilla Games, right, they have a massive employee pool. They have they went alone from 250 to 400 employees in 2018. So it looks like they are a very, very big studio now. But I feel like while they had Killzone Shadowfall you know, be developed and launched, and then also had you know, Horizon Zero Dawn be developed as well, I feel like they could sustain a 2-game development cycle at the same time, right? Like, I feel like they've already done that before with Killzone Shadowfall and Horizon Zero Dawn. And maybe this is the next step. Maybe we have Horizon Zero Dawn 2 being developed alongside a brand new multiplayer tactical shooter similar to R6 that has matchmaking, tournaments, clans, leaderboards. That's what I'm saying here, guys. And honestly, this isn't really my own theory. This is honestly from the community. Kevin Mack on Cross Circle, I forgot which Cross Circle it was, but it was the one where it was just me. I was just chatting with you guys. We were just talking about PS4. We were just talking about next gen. We were just talking about PlayStation, and you know, just me just talking in general. It was a very, very lax Cross Circle. But when we were talking about that, we were talking about the prospect of like having SOCOM back and where and who would do it. And we talked a lot about Guerrilla and this LaRoche director that came from R6 and that came to Guerrilla Games to work on a new project and stuff like that. And he's the one that was like, hey guys, like, what if Guerrilla Games is working on a SOCOM you know, with this you know, old employee of Ubisoft that made R6, or not made but directed R6. And so that is kind of where it all boils down to, boys. That's what I'm saying. Listen, I am sipping the juice. I am sipping the Kool-Aid. I believe this. And also, not only that, to play devil's advocate here, maybe they could be bringing back Killzone again. Maybe they could be bringing Killzone as another launch title like they did for PlayStation 4 with Killzone Shadowfall. Maybe that could be happening, you know, like that's not completely out of the ordinary. Maybe, you know, this is what they're doing. But I feel like the way they are wording this, new project, and the way they are kind of alluding, not really alluding, but like the way things are looking up, I just don't feel like it's a Killzone. I feel like I just know, like I just don't know. I feel like it's definitely a new IP. I feel like it's definitely SOCOM. Well, SOCOM's not a new IP, but a new project from Guerrilla Games from their warehouse. But that is pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you guys want a new SOCOM from them? Do you guys think they'll do a good job? What do you want to see in the next SOCOM game if you played the previous ones? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. And make sure also, while you are down there, do check out our description where you can find our different links, our Discord, our Twitter, as well as our Anchor link to listen to our long form content in podcast format. That being, of course, Cross Circle, as well as Road to Part 2. Cross Circle, we couldn't record this week. Sorry about that, guys. We have one coming next week. No worries there. And thank you for watching. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, as well as stay subscribed to PlayStation Source to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation. Thank you for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.